I'm probably better than you. Today on the Manspace. Welcome to the Manspace podcast. We're your hosts, Doctors Matt Brown and Rob Porter, and clinical therapist Mike Porter. Welcome, Spacemen. I don't know, man. I told you I was kind of phoning today in.
You couldn't say that with a little more conviction?
No.
There was a question mark at the end.
I mean, I did tell somebody yesterday, I was like, I question myself in pretty much every facet of my life except for humor. It's like, if it's humor, with like very rare exception, whoever's in the room is like, I can be funnier than you watch. It's like every once in a while I meet somebody who's just very dryly funny. And I think you are actually funnier than me, but I'm more obnoxious than you. And so I will draw the attention to me and everyone will assume I'm funnier. Exactly. And they'll be like, that Rob guy's funny. Sure is obnoxious though. So I'm probably not better than you. But today, Spacemen, in a brief episode.
Speaking of briefs.
I like where this went.
So I needed a little bit.
Going to be talking about man's briefs. Who
needed
cares?
a little bit of aspiration last night. So I was looking at like silent hikes, and this one wasn't silent, but it was like a guy, like this dude and his brother. It just said like 17-day trek into the Middle Earth of Canada, and I was like, ooh, this sounds awesome.
So at Middle Earth.
But he was like talking about some map in their house growing up that it was like from 1840 or something. So there's this big swath of Canada that was just white. And he's like, what's there? Like wasn't mapped out yet. So he's wanted to take this trip for a long time, but he went with his brother. And, but long story short, one of the paid sponsors was Skims. And, so he just starts it off. He's like, now a word about our paid partner. Just has this like this pair of Skims just like sitting there on like a couch. It's like a really weird like check these out, and like he starts talking about how it's important to have stuff like that on a long trek like this because even chafing in your underwear can like ruin the trip, you know. But then it cuts to this like weird him kind of walking toward a body of water, peeling his shirt off, taking his pants off down to the Skims and diving in. I was like, oh, that did not sell me on the Skims.
Sign me up. Well, I feel good about that.
But I did find myself comparing my body to his, if I'm honest.
Isn't that funny? That's the thing that we think
I was
men
like, dude,
don't
that
do.
guy,
It's like,
it's funny that my first thought was like, what does that guy eat? What's he been doing? and then I quickly like talked myself out. I'm like, well, dude, he's probably like got no kids and he freaking lives off the land and gets natural exercise all the time. He doesn't sit in a chair like me. Like, start demoting him already.
He's probably a real loser. I tend to think like, well, they're too vain, or I have some other explanation as I sit there and drink my soda and eat tons of candy, because it's like, well, I can't.
It's probably not the soda and candy.
No,
it's probably,
seriously, dude. The funny thing was, I was
probably
pounding the second half of a bag of chips that I had pounded through the night before. I'm watching it, and like chips are falling on my chest. I'm like, this guy's a loser.
Guy probably sucks. Not like me.
You know, it's funny. There's nothing quite as humbling as like the ranch drip or like sauce drip on the shirt from when you're like fries or something, where it's just like, oh, how
the worst
fat
is
am
when
I?
I was going to say the worst is when it should have just fallen straight down onto the chair, but some
No,
obstruction.
It hits your belly.
Yeah.
Or have you when it's like a drop and you see somebody do this and they get the fry and scoop the stuff up off of their shirt?
Let me just take care of that.
A professor who shall not be named was one of my students told me like one day he said like classes at my house today or something. So they just showed up. He had some big old stain on his shirt and his hair's all crazy. He's like, Oh, we're doing that today?
That can't be good. It is funny. Like I was thinking about, because in theory, what we're going to try to, are we merging these together? We're just going to talk about competition and why we compete, and then maybe build it into self-worth in a second episode. Who knows? Or it's all in one. Self-worth and competition. I don't know.
I think you just put the 3 main points out there.
Boom.
You're welcome, David W.
Ta-da. It was. Someone requested this 3 main points. But I was thinking this. We've done an episode on competition before because we talked about putting my terrible, terrible song on the soundtrack at the end. Maybe today, this time I will, if I remember. I'm going to put the song at the end so people can listen to that freaking terrible song that I know is
glory
terrible.
that is Button Hook's competition.
Oh, it was bad.
Was it written about your band you were in competition with, or just comparison in general?
I wrote the song. Oh crap! I'm getting a trying to reconnect thing on my thing. Doesn't matter. I wrote the song. I had it all written out musically. Not written. We would play it, and the drummer started doing something, and then the bass player made a lineup for it, and but we were nearing the end where we knew we were done, as a band in 3 months, and we were finishing our album, and he's like, dude, let's put some lyrics on that. Write some lyrics for it real quick. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I wrote these lyrics about competing. It was actually about me and my brothers and how we like to never be wrong, and we'll get in arguments and make stats up, and it'll be like, dude, 97%. I read an article, 97%. You find out later, it's like, I never read that article.
It doesn't even exist.
Or even if I read that article, it probably didn't have a stat in it.
Yeah, it didn't say 97%. It actually said the opposite, but I read an article and now I can't compete with you. So it was about that, but the melody is just freaking atrocious. We recorded it in my bedroom instead of in the studio because we were already done with the studio. So it was just, the whole thing is like, I wish we would have just freaking left it instrumental, but we didn't, and it's fine. You guys can compare yourselves to me when this is over. Here's what I wonder that I've talked about before. I don't consider myself super competitive, but then I think sometimes I am in the negative way. Because this listener who asked for this topic was like, how do you be competitive without it becoming comparison? That's what we're kind of getting at. How do I have a friend who is amazing at competing. He loves to compete. He wants to make everything a fun competition, but he's extremely encouraging even while you're beating him or he's beating you. He'll tell you
Who's
that
this?
was a really good shot, John Howell.
Yeah.
He's freaking amazing at it. He does it with the youth when he's working with youth, tells them how amazing they are while also spiking a ball into their face. And then tells them man, that was a really good, you reacted so quickly to that. It's like, what? Because I do it. I'm like, I own you. I'm just kidding. I think it's funny to make fun of the idea of competition. So riddle me this. Is it necessary? Some men argue this is just what we do. Competition is necessary.
Mike, I got it, but go for it.
Is it necessary?
Yeah. For us to be the men that we are, for us to,
No.
I don't know, push ourselves.
No.
Isn't there? What about push yourselves? No, come on, nothing.
Here's the thing. To me, is that how we use it and how we justify it? Yes. I think that is.
Oh.
I mean, in 97% of the people that I've talked to, I think that's 100% how it is.
That sounds like it works 50% of the time, all the time. 96% of the people, that's 100% what it is.
It's in an article.
It's in an article.
I read it in a
I was
listicle.
hoping someone would get there. That's the whole reason I made up those stats. Jeez. No, I think I think we use competition as an excuse to justify or as the justification for like, well, no, but I need this to be the best that I can be. And we lean back on this idea of I have to pit myself against someone else. Apparently I can't be the best I'm going to be unless I'm comparing myself to someone else. I don't think it's necessary. I think I watched and I don't even know how I would go about finding it because there's probably thousands of interviews with Kobe Bryant, but
Kobe.
I saw back when I was still on social media, I saw like a short or a reel or something, and it was someone asking Kobe Bryant about the GOAT debate, who's the best and greatest of all time, and he goes, I just try to do better than I did yesterday. He's like, this whole argument of if I'm better than Jordan or better than LeBron, he goes, I'm not those two guys. Like I don't play the game they play. They don't play my game. And he goes, so I just try to be better in my own game. And I think that is a kind of competition I'm okay with, like looking at myself and saying, I want to be better than I was yesterday. But I think there's a real danger in saying I've got to be better than that guy, because then I'm hinging too much of my own ideas of self-worth on things that are, I mean, it goes back to what we read in Fearless Mind. He would set these tennis players, set your goals. Well, my goal is I'm going to do this so that I win. And he goes, no, you can't have the outcome. You can't have your goal as winning your next match, because you could do everything perfectly. And if you're simply playing someone better than you, you're going to lose. Even if you execute your game plan perfectly, you're still going to lose. You can't have that as your goal. And so he would force them to kind of set these different goals that were things actually within their control. And I think the minute I hinge my my success on being better than the guy next to me, doing it better than they did it, there's too much outside my control. I can't, sure, I'm probably a better public speaker than a lot of people, but I also know that there are people I'm not a better public speaker than.
I gotta compete. You didn't wait long enough.
and so I think, yeah, right. If I'm competing against that guy, I'm going to lose. And then what do I have to show? I didn't suddenly my public, my speech or whatever it was is now not as good because it wasn't as good as that guy. And so I start to strip away the benefits and the positives that came. Like, it could have been a very good address, but it just wasn't as good as that guy. And so, I don't know. To me, no, I don't think competition is necessary. I think it's inevitable, but I don't think it's necessary.
That's interesting.
That was actually my first thought, was like, it sounded like a weird question because it's like, I think it just exists. And then
Yeah.
I think rarely do we pick it up intentionally and say, I'm going to compete, right? It's just like all of a sudden I feel competitive. But usually, like you're saying, it's about like ego or outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that healthy competition looks like two people trying to, or more, right? Trying to be their best in tension with each other. But if you can't walk away and like let the emotion go, then it becomes a bad thing, because then you're tied up in it in the way you're describing, where I'm tied up in something that either I can't control or I've made about my worth, versus like my capacity or my own growth or whatever. But I think we probably get sucked into it more often than not based on comparisons, right? Like, and you've said before, Rob, like you find yourself competing for things that you don't even value, and then you're like, wait, what? And then I think we get sucked into things that probably hit us at like a worth level versus I want to improve myself in this way.
Well, especially I think, sorry, Rob. Especially I think when you,
you
isn't
win,
it funny?
Mikey.
Isn't it funny that I laughed and then apologized? When you get into for all the good that did, I think I was going to say something about when you get into like careers and stuff, because so much of how men tend to identify ties back into their careers and their ability to provide. And I think, yeah, if that's where the competition is, your worth is going to tank.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're already hinging it to something that is probably not a great place to hinge your sense of self-worth. And now you've just made it a competition. And there's only one way to win that competition, and that's to be the top. And competing against how many people in the world? Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Rob.
Oh, thank you. I think what's interesting is my question was, is competition necessary? And I think unintentionally, you guys moved into comparison. Those can overlap, but technically, according to AI, competition involves a drive to improve and succeed, acting as a motivator for personal growth and goal attainment, while comparison is a process of measuring oneself against others. I think you can be involved in competition and it turns into comparison.
Mm-hmm.
But competition
starts with it, yeah.
Yeah, like because the question actually from this thing was like, what's healthy competition? The easiest answer is it's competing without comparing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm putting what I have on the table, you're putting what you have on the table. Let's see who comes out winner. And then saying, cool, you won. I'm still freaking amazing. Like I'm not comparing my value. And I think that's part of where, when we start to tie our value into the outcome of whatever the competition is, because some of what we're talking about here, when we talk about careers, or, this person mentions lawns. And I was like, yeah, except you're probably not actually competing with your neighbor for for lawns overtly. That's just like, you're just doing it. But if it's like, hey dude, let's see who can win best yard of the month. It's like, cool, go for it. Then it's like an overt competition. It's just fun. And maybe there is some value in, I'm not, like I said, in this realm, I don't want to, like, if it's therapy, I don't want to have a competition of like, let's each do a therapy session and see who comes out better, and it feels like, because I tie a lot of I have to work hard not to tie my value into the thing I'm competing about. I have a hard time walking because like when it comes to sports, I didn't grow up very athletic. And so when people beat me at sports always, then it's like, oh, I suck as a man. I'm barely even a man. And suddenly it's like, well, no wonder it's not a competition anymore. That's suddenly a measurement of my worth. So if I it's kind of funny. I think you can improve without competition. There are certain things that's like, I don't know how you improve at like football without competition, but I guess you play by yourself. I don't know.
Well, so that's the interesting thing is there was also an inherent idea, I think, that the competition had to be against someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That I couldn't be, it wouldn't be competition if I'm competing with myself.
Right. But even then, does it have to be comparison? There's still a difference. That John Howell does not compare himself to you.
No, so that I was going to say, that's the interesting thing is, to me, it would become comparison without judgment. The comparison is inherent. Like I can't tell if I won unless I'm comparing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Now,
but
if there's a clear finish line,
you're just comparing points or scores or times
or times.
Yeah. Like I can't determine a winner without comparison.
But the idea,
in order for me to win, somebody has to lose.
You're saying no judgment about it. It's just a fact.
But if there's no judgment, if I remove the judgment from it, well, that's a different thing altogether, right? That's what John does.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I think.
John does it without judgment.
Yeah. Because he enjoys the challenge of, like, I don't think he feels any better or worse about himself if he wins or loses.
Right.
He does not tie any sense of value into his ability to play a certain sport.
Yeah.
So like this question, like, it's kind of interesting was like, how do you compete in a healthy way? It makes me wonder if their wife was like, you're too competitive. You know, it's like every time we play board games, you get so competitive. And it's like, yeah, I can get competitive. Like when I do that, Mike, I freaking love to play cards with you. When it's like, well, did I beat Mike? It's like, Rob, you lost. It's like, but did Mike did he do worse than I did?
That's generally all I ever care about when I play with, if Rob's at the table, I don't care if I lose. I care if I beat Rob.
And I think sometimes people feel like, gosh, why, Rob? It's like, it's just funny.
It's just funny. Yeah, that's all it is.
It's hilarious to be like, I beat Mike though. You know?
Yeah, like I don't, and because that's a funny thing. Like you and I have been at this long enough.
Yeah.
No, we don't actually care about the game we're playing.
But it is kind of that's the fun part of competitive to me. It's like I don't think any less of myself or you if either one of us wins or loses. It's just fun to rub it in your face.
Well, yeah, and that's like you and I have like some hilarious photos over the years of reactions of one of us winning or one of us losing. Or Rob loves to, if I win, suddenly the name of the winner is Poop. Or Poopy,
or like there is no score for that guy. It's like,
oh, that guy has no score. I don't know what happened.
That's what I get for being scorekeeper.
Not to keep going with the name of Poopy, but I think you just unearthed a another important part of it that I think it does make it really important, and it's like the ability to lose.
Yeah,
like if you don't have that experience enough, and you can only have it when you're in competition, you don't get the experience of like becoming overly attached to your worth, you know, based on some game or whatever you're doing, and then letting it go. And I think like that can be a really valuable lesson, like to feel the pain of having totally invested yourself in something and having it not go the way that you wanted it to go, and to feel that pain of loss, but not keep it as an indicator of your worth or your future performance or any of those things. And I think like navigating that process is, if you haven't done that, you'll be afraid of it all the time, and then you won't try to better yourself. You won't try to put yourself out there. You'll just kind of live in like a comfortable place.
Yeah. I think part of being a good loser too is being willing to go to the winner and say, hey, that was when you did this, that was really cool. How do you do that? Like, teach me what you just did. Because then it really is, I'm competing because it's me pushing my skills against something so that I can refine those skills and make them better. Not so that I can come back and beat you next time. Although that may be the case, but it's like, I enjoy competing with you. It's like it pushes me and I gain something from it. So you'd have to go into it knowing that I will be better because of this, not that I am better because of this. Oh, that's good. That's deep. Write that down.
Wait, say it again. I'm on it.
Start over. I love when people in class be like, wait, what did you just say? Say that again. I'm like, I don't know. What did I just say?
It just came out.
You tell me. No, that's I was thinking as you guys were talking about this, I was thinking of, I mean, baseball is the greatest sport.
That's it.
That's all it is.
Did you guys, by the way, this happens all the time. The race right now for the AL West is delightful.
Yeah, Mariners they've made the playoffs for sure.
Wait, they have?
Yeah, they might still win. They might still win their division.
Because I was watching, but
they've made the playoffs for sure.
But they, in theory, I don't know how they freaking lost last night. I think they lost last night to the Rockies. Which I'm like, how'd you lose to the Rockies, man? Their record is like
they've lost 114 games. Yeah,
which is like, oh no, wait, they pulled it out in last. They did it. They won. So that means the Mariners are freaking killing it right now.
Yeah,
I freaking love it.
It's
But they
okay.
do have the
Spoon
Rockies
Riley
who
will play
suck.
for the Yankees. It's fine.
And then they have their final stretch is a 3-game match against the Dodgers, which I'm like, oh come on,
They're
man.
going to drop
The
those.
Astros are playing like the
White Sox
Athletics
or something. Yeah,
It's like
they're
terrible.
playing the Athletics right now, and then
And the Angels,
they
who
might
are also
is it
terrible.
the Angels, yeah,
It's the Angels, yeah. Although they did lose last night to the Athletics.
yeah.
So they're on a 4-game losing streak.
But so coming back to this, like you
Sorry.
watch the end of a football game, the end of a baseball game, and they'll sit and congratulate the other team. You watch the end of a baseball game, they line up and congratulate themselves.
I don't understand that.
It used to be different, man.
Little League it is.
Well, sure, lots of things are different at the Little League level.
No, like I think Major League used to.
That's what I had a memory of too, but they don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
they just kind of all the guys come from the dugout and get all the guys coming in from the field, and they congratulate each other on their way out. And I think it drives me nuts. And then I remember watching the Last Dance, the documentary on Jordan's final season. Well, on the Bulls' final season with Jordan, whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway, there was a game. There was 2 instances. I think one was in Chicago, and one was in Utah. And I remember Jordan came, and like the Jazz were all on the bus waiting to go. And Jordan came, and I can't remember who won that game or not, but Jordan came out and found Malone and Stockton because he had played with them on the Dream Team and developed a friendship and respect with the two of them. And so came onto the bus just to kind of say, hey, good game, guys. And a similar thing happened when they were playing in Salt Lake. They were done, and Malone and Stockton stood and waited for him to come out of the locker room to be able to say, to chat and to kind of congratulate her. I like I said, I can't remember who won or lost those games, but that to me is like, there's a lot to be said for, regardless of the outcome. Here's this relationship I've developed. I'm going to go after it.
As a side note, because I was curious, it looks like there was never really a tradition of shaking hands with the other team, but one possible explanation for why they don't is Rule 4.06, which has been on the books since 1950.
Fraternization of
no fraternizing with the other team while in uniform.
Yeah.
And so the theory is it just turned into don't even talk to them when you're, like they're the enemy. So stupid.
Which is that scene in Moneyball is like one of my favorites when Billy Bean is encouraging the first baseman to like Hattiesburg to like, that's your office. You welcome them in. You chat them up.
Well, it's funny because, every sport has an element of mental game in it.
Yeah.
What's funny about baseball, especially if you watch Ken Burns, that big long thing you mentioned, they talk about the duel between the batter and the pitcher and how it's like how much mental game there is in this, and how like it's so fascinating to think, I can see the idea of like the way they respond to each other is like, no, you are my enemy while we're out here. Anyway, interesting. And I think that's where sometimes I don't know the line. I think that's why I struggle with competition, is because it's like I don't always know the line of like, no, we're still friends. Some places I do. Other places it's like, and I think for me, again, that's where it always ties to my self-worth. Like I feel like kind of an idiot if I'm not good at this. And so you have to lose or it means I suck. So then we are saying some competition can be good.
Especially with your wife. Since you were wondering if that's the thing that brought this up.
You need to show your wife you are better than her.
Who's boss? It was kind of funny because like I think I've mentioned this in our previous episode, which was honestly like one of our first 10 episodes or something, but my wife and I, because we're not competitive when we play, there's certain games we play just like the two of us. One's called you guys know Carcassonne
Mm-hmm.
or like Ticket to Ride.
Mhm.
When we play those games, just the two of us, the rules are slightly different for like Ticket to Ride if there's just two of you, but we always bend the rules so that it's like, well, we can both win there. And at the end, it's like, how'd you do? Good job. Because it's like, I don't like when it feels like, no, my wife's trying to screw me over.
Yeah.
Did we just run out of stuff to say? Are we done?
Which is not very competitive today.
This is like our shortest episode ever.
Yeah,
Well,
I
let's
was gonna
think of
say,
one
we're
more
like
angle
we're like
of this.
barely at like 37 minutes.
Trying to think of another angle of this where, like, I mean, I'm thinking of parenting stuff, like where, parents maybe are like competing with each other through their kids. Definitely unhealthy. Let's just see how many unhealthy forms of competition we can name.
I was gonna say, I am always a little bit shocked when I run into parents that, like, one, express having a favorite child,
Mm-hmm.
and that two will like seemingly legitimately argue over who's the favorite parent. And
There you go. There's another
and I think
competition for your
I'm not
kids'
sure I would go there.
love and affection. Yeah.
That's like, not to keep pointing everything back to this, but I think, yeah, but that all comes back to like, how do I manage and know myself well enough and have enough confidence in myself to know that like right now, my daughter tends to she's like always calling my wife. She never calls me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little surprising to me. I'm like, oh, I thought she used to talk to me more than my wife. Like, I don't understand. My first thought was, that's okay. Like, there are some things my wife would get that I don't. They're both females. Like, it has no bearing on whether or not my daughter loves me. I also thought, oh, well, I'm at work all day. And my kids have always known, like, if you want to get me during the day, you can't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's like, well, I'll call mom. So I was like, oh, well, it has nothing to do with me. But I have to remind myself, it's not a competition. I'm not like competing with my wife for my kids' love. But I have to be okay with myself to know that. Like, it's all right. I was a good dad. I say was. I'm no longer her dad. You're on your own. Sucker. I wonder if she listens. She doesn't listen to this podcast. I'm going to get her to
Maybe
turn
she
it
does now because she misses you.
on. Oh, that's it.
That's why she's not calling. She's like, I already listened to Dad.
She's like, he already said something about me. Because I mentioned that too, because I think it does matter, to when this is over, to be able for someone listening to this to say, well, okay, well, if I want to be able to compete, I don't like some people don't like competition. I just said it. They don't. Well, no, sorry, comparison. They don't like competition because it feels like comparison, and so it's learning to say, okay, I'm going to do this thing because I enjoy this thing, even if I lose. Like, I love playing Mario Kart, even if I lose.
Yeah.
I play Call of Duty with my kids, and I have made it. There's only 4 of us. I've made it onto the ending podium thing like 4 times. Once I even got second place, although I think my one son went to the bathroom in the middle of that. So it doesn't really, but it's like, I don't care. I just like playing. Like, I don't tie any value whatsoever into how well I did at Call of Duty. So if you are having a hard time with competition and it's getting unhealthy, it's like, you need to pause and ask yourself, am I tying my sense of self to this? Like, am I good at basketball? And if somebody beats me, it means I'm no longer good at basketball. Just like therapy, am I good at therapy? Or is it possible that I am good at therapy and there's a lot of other therapists who are just as good or better than me? I mean, by a lot of other therapists, I mean, maybe 2 or 3. But you get the idea.
You want to hear it? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was
Then
just
I want to
like,
hear it, Matt.
There was, as we've been talking, I remembered reading something about, his name is Zusia of Anapole. He was apparently an 18th century Hasidic scholar.
Ooh.
And his his students ask, Master, why do you tremble? You've lived a good life. Surely God will grant you a great reward. This is as he's nearing death, right? And he responds and says, if God says to me, Zeusia, why were you not another Moses? I will say, because you didn't give me the greatness of soul that you gave Moses. And if I stand before God and he says, Zeusia, why were you not another Solomon? I will say, because you didn't give me the wisdom of Solomon. But alas, what will I say if I stand before my maker and he says, Zeusia, why were you not Zeusia? Why are you not the man I gave you the capacity to be? Ah, that is why I tremble. And that it was just that idea of well, that's the thing. Like, as I thought about it, that's where, right? Like, that's where you start to bleed in to recognize I don't possess I'm not the therapist either of you are. Like, the three of us have a lot in common in terms of how we see change in therapy and stuff like that. And we have a lot of, I think there are things that if you were to put us all in the room, some people would be like, well, I'm not sure who I was just talking to based off what happened. Like, could have been any one of the three of us. And yet we each have our own experiences and things that come into the room with us that just make us different. And so it's one of those recognizing the danger in comparing myself in that aspect, because I don't have your experiences. You don't have mine. And so for me to sit here and say, well, I'm not as good as Matt, or I'm not as good as Rob, gets really dodgy. And in the end, it really, to me, more matters. Did I work to be the best version of me that I could be? And that, in my own beliefs, is all I have to answer for.
I was going to say, even then, I'd tweak that slightly to say, did I work to continually improve myself?
Yes.
Because otherwise, we get stuck comparing ourselves to what I should have been.
Right, which I hate the word should. I think it's one of the worst words in the English language. Because it is, like, as long as I'm...
kumquat?
No, that word's rad. Dude, it's a word that makes no sense. Who looks at something and says, you know what that is? That's a kumquat.
That sounds like some guy who's trying to sound smart to impress women. And this fruit as well. And what's that? It's called a kumquat.
Kumquat. And if you believe that, I've got some property we should talk about.
Matt, what were you going to tell us?
Yeah, I do want to know Matt's thing, though.
Well, after your expounding of the Hasidic philosopher, I'm about to tell a story about competition and almost losing my nipple.
It's all right. Then we'll play my terrible song at the end.
See, it's the perfect send-off.
Oh, man. So when I was growing up, for those of you who can't see my wall, I've got a weird BMX statue.
I love it, actually.
Sculpture, not statue. But so I was considered amongst my group of bikers like the best. And that was the title that I really held on to. So one time we were having like a length competition on this jump in the neighborhood park, and my friend outdid me, and everybody was like, oh. I was like, just like flew back to where we started from and went like as fast as I possibly could. But I feel the need to say that I did surpass where he landed. But landed.
But in the meantime, I
splayed out on the street and like slid, almost ripped my nipple off, and like tore a huge hole in my elbow, and some other places. But like, part that made me the most mad was like, after that, you would think your friends would be like, dude, are you all right? The friend that I was competing against like gets down like an umpire and he's like, safe. So that was a time where it wasn't worth it. So you don't need to tear your nipples off to compete. If it gets to that level, you know it's unhealthy.
So I'd say that's one of our main key points, because David W., one of our listeners / watchers, did say, summarize these points. Actually, I only have the one main point. It's like
he wanted us to summarize them at the beginning.
I know,
so
and
that he knew what he should be listening for.
I will say the hard part is I'll try to make better show notes, but I'm like, I don't always know our points in the beginning. But
we, like you said, we don't know our points in the beginning.
I know, but I do think my point is like, it really matters in competition to understand why, like you have to have a confidence in yourself to say, hey, I'm still pretty freaking cool. And I do think we should do a second episode still about, let's talk about confidence and self-worth.
Yeah.
Because that's, I think, vital to be able to engage in and enjoy the sport and the game of competition with somebody and not attach value to it.
Yep.
So that was real good.
Nailed it.
Everybody. Also, I just got a text. I no longer have to go to jury duty on Friday.
Oh, congratulations, buddy.
Nice.
Well, that's never happened. I've never had to go. They always tell me you don't need to. So, guess that's it. Come back next time and catch us on the Manspace. Now for our number one hit, Competition by Button Hooked. And that's where I'll put it in.
Enough, but that doesn't mean it's over. When you and I won't see the same, 'cause you're not listening. Still you're holding on to your pride, arguing your own side, 'cause you know I won't let it go. But no one told me I'm only arguing myself. I'm only arguing mine, 'cause you agree with me and I agree with you. But it's I've long since made my point, but I'll just keep on talking, 'cause nothing's worse than giving in, and I won't lose this. Does it even make a difference if I put up a defense, or will you argue just the same? 'Cause no one told you, you're only arguing yourself. You're only arguing yourself, 'cause you agree with me and I agree with you. But it's the competition. We won't listen. Why can't we just agree? We won't listen. Why can't we just agree?